Bienvenido a mi cocina. Today we're gonna prepare my favorite cake. It's a Russian honey cake called Medovik. For this recipe you're gonna need an 8-inch spring-form pan or baking ring. Okay, let's start. You're gonna need a big bowl and we're gonna whisk the brown sugar with the eggs. Make sure to mix well so we don't have lumps on the batter. Set aside for now, we will come back to it later. Meanwhile, let's move to the stove. We're gonna pour the honey into a pan on high heat to make a honey caramel. We're gonna let the honey start simmering and we're gonna stir constantly until we get a darker color. What we're looking is to enhance the honey flavor and make it strong for the preparation. Once the honey has a darker color, we're gonna add the butter. Make sure to stir constantly. We're gonna continue with high heat and the mix will start boiling again, forming a caramel. After the mixture has boiled for several minutes, we're gonna add the baking soda. You're gonna see a very quickly reaction that it's gonna make like foam with the mixture. You have to stir constantly and you're gonna see how the color is gonna start changing to a dark orange. Now we're gonna mix both mixtures together. Be aware that the honey is hot, so we need to whisk very quickly when we're adding it into the eggs and sugar mix. We don't want scrambled eggs. And mix it till we have a smooth preparation. Okay, now that we have all the wet ingredients ready, we're gonna start adding the flour. We're gonna do this in 3 steps because if we do it in one, it's gonna be very hard to mix and we're gonna have a lot of lumps into the mixture. The mixture is gonna become very sticky and heavy, and at that moment it's time we go to a table. Putting flour on the table, we're gonna pour the mixture into the surface and we're gonna start kneading by hand to finish the dough. You're gonna knead the dough for 1 or 2 minutes, making sure it's not very sticky. If it's sticky, you can add a little bit more of flour, and then we're gonna be ready to continue with the next step. Remember that in this video I'm making 2 cakes, so I divide the dough in two and I'm gonna work with only 1/2 for the next steps. Roll the dough and divide it in 8 equal portions. Make balls with each portion. Using a rolling pin, we're gonna flatten each ball of dough on top of a parchment paper. If it gets sticky, you can use some flour. It's important to make very thin discs that are bigger than 8 inches in diameter, because the next step is to cut them using the baking ring, and it's very important for you to save and reserve the scraps that we're gonna need to bake for this preparation. We're gonna put the disc into a baking tray and we're gonna poke some holes using a fork. Then we're gonna bake it in a 350 Fahrenheit degree oven for 8 minutes. The result is gonna be like a big cookie. You're gonna repeat this until you have 8 big cookies and all the scraps already baked. The next step is to grind the baked scraps into a dust that we're gonna use for the final assembly process. Now we're gonna whip the heavy cream first into a soft peaks, then we're gonna add the powdered sugar and the vanilla extract. And then we're gonna whip again until we have a medium peak consistency. Now we're ready to start assembling the cake. We're gonna put a honey cake layer and we're gonna top it with cream and drizzle with a little bit of fresh honey. We're gonna repeat this process with the 8 layers, and at the end we're gonna put the final layer and we're gonna spread the rest of the cream on top and on the sides of the cake until it's completely covered. For decoration, we're gonna dust the cake using the crumbs we grind earlier. It's important to let the cake sit on the fridge for at least 4 hours, or even better if it's overnight.